Hey guys, so welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about the fact that everyone really is doing the best that they possibly can. Before I get into the talk, if you get something from this, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. If you'd like to help out financially, check out my Patreon page and check out the links below if you want to make just a one-time contribution. It really is people like you who view these videos and get something from them that helps support me in continuing to offer them. And by all means, if there are any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below, wherever you are, on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, or on Patreon. Okay? All right. So everyone is doing the best that they can. This is a hard concept maybe for us to really believe. We look around, we see some people that seem to have it really easy, and they don't have the same problems that we do, and we think they're pathetic. They should just be enjoying their life. They have $1 million in the bank, they're president of the United States, they own their own company, whatever it is. We think they have it easy. We think we have unique problems. We deserve sympathy. We deserve empathy. Other people who we look at maybe don't. This isn't to say we feel that way about everybody. We indeed may see somebody who we think is worse off than we are, and we might feel sorry for them. But this spiritual principle I'd like you to grasp is that really everyone is doing the best that they possibly can, given their understanding, their level of awareness, their biology, their makeup, their upbringing, their culture. All of that factors into them doing things the way that they do them. And you may think you have a better idea about how they should be going about things, but other people feel the same way about you. I promise you, it doesn't really matter who you are. Someone in your life has an opinion about you, and they think you could be doing it better than you are. Might be your parents, might be your boss, might be your spouse, right? You probably feel that way about your spouse or your loved one. Yeah, they could do a lot better. So this is a pretty common feeling that we have about people. But what I'd like to share with you is it's not really true. Everyone is doing the absolute best that they know how to do. Now, it can be the case that you could teach someone to do better. You may be able to share with them. But this tends to be more of a rare thing, especially for people that aren't on a spiritual path. You might say that is the spiritual path. And even if someone doesn't call it that, if someone is open to growing and learning and learning from their mistakes, open to constructive criticism, you might say that they are on a spiritual path, whether that's what they call it or not. That's what I call a spiritual path. Spiritual path is really just about truth and the ultimate truth. And very often when we get to the ultimate truth, we find that it begins to transcend our logical, rational mind, and it begins to transcend our everyday experience. Not that it doesn't incorporate our everyday experience, but there's more to it than just our everyday experience. So this is why oftentimes we think about spirituality being something beyond just our normal everyday concerns. So I like to say that there are no easy human lives, full stop. There just aren't any easy human lives. You may look around again and see someone with a lot of money, a lot of success, maybe somebody with fame, and you want to say, nope, they have it easy. But walk a mile in their shoes, and then you'll actually know whether they have it easy. Maybe if you're famous, it seems like life is easy. But what if you can't leave your house without getting recognized, without having people come up to you and ask you questions or ask to sign autographs or interrupt your day? You have zero privacy. in public. What would that be like? So again, we don't recognize other people's challenges. And oftentimes with social media, people try and make it look like they don't have any challenges, right? Everyone tries to put the best foot forward on social media. Not everybody. Some people do just the opposite. And they get on social media and they're constantly looking for confirmation that they're the victim in a situation. They're constantly looking for sympathy. This is just a different kind of egoic pursuit, you might say. But many people try and put forth the image that they live the perfect life, that they live the life that you should be envious of. So they might encourage this idea, but every human life has its unique challenges. So really what we want to do for our own happiness, and again, I really want to remind everyone, everything I teach is about your happiness and well-being. You're not doing anyone else a favor. So this isn't about you recognizing that everyone has challenges for them to make their lives easier. It's to unload a burden from you, because otherwise you go through life very frustrated with people. You go through life very frustrated with people. Why can't they just listen to me? Why don't they just do what I tell them to do? Why are they so stubborn? Why don't they listen? Why can't they see? Because they're doing the best that they can. And that is the limit of their best. Doesn't mean their best can't change. And oftentimes it might. But we're not in control of that. This is someone else's journey or path. And just because we have maybe experienced the same things they have, and we already know or we think we know, we think we know the outcome of their journey, we don't. And just because we may actually know, it doesn't mean that they're open to hearing it. So very often, if someone's an alcoholic or a drug abuser, they really have to hit bottom for themselves. You may have seen enough a long time ago. You might have been like, wow, this person is wrecking their life. They need help. They need change. You might even have an intervention for them. And sometimes that's enough to wake people up. Oftentimes it's not. And that person needs to hit their bottom before they're open to admitting the truth to themselves. The truth that's obvious to everybody else who knows them, but it's not obvious to them, not yet. Okay? So what we'd like to do for our own well-being, for our own sanity, is cultivate empathy, compassion, and forgiveness. Okay? We cultivate these things for our own happiness, because otherwise we live in frustration. We live in anger. We look around at the world and we see people who we think should be better people than they are, and they just aren't. And it doesn't matter how frustrated we get, it doesn't change them, right? You can pound the table, you can yell and scream, you can hold signs, you can march, you can rant on social media, and these people do not change, right? Not because you're yelling and screaming. They might change on their own, in their own time. But again, this isn't your job to change them. And if you take that job on, or you think it's your job to decide how human beings should be, then you are going to die a frustrated, angry, unhappy individual, because the world's not going to conform to your beliefs and ideas. So again, I can have the belief they should be different than they are. They're not doing the best that they can. Doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it true. So everyone is doing the best that they can. And if we are having trouble with that, it's our work to cultivate empathy, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, to try and see it from their view, in their shoes, to try and relate, to rehumanize them if we have dehumanized them. And this is a huge problem for us as human beings. When we dehumanize someone, we write them off, and we don't have to love them. And then we hurt. That's why anger hurts. That's why judgment, that's why you get frustrated. That's why you get angry. Because you're writing somebody off who really doesn't deserve that. They deserve your compassion. They deserve your empathy, but you're not giving it to them, and you're hurting yourself, not anybody else. You're only hurting yourself. So this is why Jesus would say things like, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Okay? People are doing the best they can, given their level of understanding. If you can somehow, patiently, compassionately, without dehumanizing them or talking down to somebody, if you can somehow raise their level of awareness or consciousness about an issue or about their behavior, whatever it is, if you can do that in a loving way, that's a beautiful thing. And by all means do so. But what you'll find is very often teaching is not welcome until someone is ready for it. And very often when someone is ready for it, they seek it out and they ask for it. So very often our advice, our opinion is just not welcome. People aren't waiting around to hear what we think about an issue. They just aren't. Okay? So forgive them, for they know not what they do. They just don't know. They are dealing with their own life challenges, and you may not see what those challenges are, and you may want them to address certain things that are of concern to you, but that isn't their concern, and it's their life. Sure, their life may impact your life, but your life, your judgments of them, is also impacting them as well. And so we can't control other people. We can communicate with other people, we can love other people, but we can't control them. So this brings me to another point, which is to get upset about human unconsciousness is itself unconsciousness. All right? So some people, they get on the spiritual path, they quote unquote wake up, and then all of a sudden they get very frustrated with the world and with other people, and they think it's because now they're awake and they see how everyone else is asleep, and they get very upset with everybody and frustrated, and they see the world and maybe political systems and governments and all this stuff is evil and bad and unspiritual. This is itself unconsciousness. This is itself unspiritual. Okay, ultimately. It's not to say that I can't see problems with government, with education, with the medical system, with human behavior in general, with systematic sexism and racism that are prevalent. I'm not saying these things don't exist. Okay? But, again, to simply get frustrated, angry, to turn these people into the other, to think that their true nature is not our true nature, and that we couldn't be them with just a slight change in our upbringing, the color of our skin, our genetic makeup, any number of factors. We're kidding ourselves if we think that our true nature is not the same as their true nature, and their true nature is not the same as ours. And this is where true compassion and understanding comes from. And true love is connecting with somebody on that level where everyone truly is the same. Everyone truly is the same. Saints and sinners are the same. There is no such thing as a saint or a sinner. And this is what this teaching is really about. connecting on that level. So once again, a practice for us to do this is to see that everybody is doing the best that they can. Can they do better in the future? Sure, we all can. We can all learn, we can all grow, we can do better. Absolutely. Can we encourage others to do better? Yes, we can encourage them, but if we judge them, that will not encourage them. That will not encourage them. It is only by having faith in them and truly encouraging them, saying, I know you can do more. I know you're doing the best that you can. All right? I don't think that you're holding back. But I also know you can do better. And the person who needs to hear this the most is you. Is each of us. So, as always with spiritual teaching, it really is mostly about us. We can't really control others. And so we work on ourselves and we try and better ourselves. And so the question we always want to ask is this my best? And sometimes we will find that we can do better. All right, everyone. I hope you got something from that. If you did, you know what to do. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, namaste.